Honestly, I'm gonna tell you the truth. There's something which I need to come clean with. I took some loans.
Oh my God.
In numbers, it might be near about $50,000 to $20,000.
Sumit did not just reveal that he had taken out loans worth somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000. He revealed that the entire financial arrangement between him, Jenny, and his parents may have been built on information Jenny never had. Think about this properly. Jenny agreed to move into Sumit's parents' house because she believed it would help them save money after their business failed and Sumit lost his income. She gave up her privacy. She gave up the independent home she had shared with Sumit for years. She accepted living under the same roof as the family that once strongly opposed their relationship. And now she discovers that she and Sumit are apparently paying the rent for everyone. Sumit is unemployed, and the money keeping this situation alive is coming from loans he never told her about. So this is not simply a story about debt. This is a story about consent inside a marriage. It is about one partner making major financial decisions, hiding them, and then asking the other partner to be understanding after the consequences are already unavoidable. And the most revealing part may not even be Sumit's confession. It may be his reaction when Jenny becomes upset. Instead of immediately taking responsibility, he tells her she does not understand his position. But how was Jenny supposed to understand a situation he deliberately kept secret? That is the question at the center of this entire mess. Is Sumit a desperate husband trying to support his parents? Is he a conflict-avoidant man who lies whenever the truth becomes uncomfortable? Or has Jenny spent years in a marriage where she is loved emotionally, but never truly treated as an equal decision-maker? Because once we look at their full history, this loan does not feel like one isolated mistake. It feels like a pattern. The episode brings us to the confession through a group wilderness exercise. Jenny, Sumit, Shekina, and Sarper finish their hike and arrive at the campsite. During the campfire discussion, Sumit compares carrying 2 backpacks to the pressure he feels in his real life. One backpack represents Jenny. The other represents his parent. And honestly, that comparison tells us more about Sumit than he probably intended. In Sumit's mind, his life is a permanent balancing act. He does not see Jenny and his parents as people who can sit together and negotiate boundaries. He sees them as 2 separate responsibilities that he must carry at the same time. That framing allows Sumit to position himself as the exhausted man in the middle. He is the one carrying everyone. He is the one under pressure. He is the one who cannot make both sides happy. But there is a problem with that story. Sumit is not simply trapped between 2 groups making demands. He is also making choices that prevent either side from knowing the full truth. Jenny responds to his backpack comparison by offering what sounds like a straightforward solution. She says they could move out and get their own place. That is when the financial contradiction finally comes into the open. The reason Jenny originally accepted living with Sumit's parents was because they needed financial help. The CAF had failed, Sumit was no longer working, and moving into the family home was supposed to reduce their expenses. But Jenny says the arrangement is no longer helping them financially because she and Sumit are paying the rent, not part of the rent. According to the discussion, they are paying for the household. This completely changes the meaning of their living situation. Jenny believed she was sacrificing independence in exchange for financial stability. Instead, she appears to have sacrificed independence while also becoming financially responsible for the household. She agreed to one arrangement and ended up living inside another. And that is where Sumit finally admits he has been hiding something. He says his parents stopped paying after a few months, and because the rent still needed to be covered, he took out loans. Then he gives the number, around $15,000 to $20,000. Now there are still many things we do not know. We do not know who gave him the loans. We do not know the interest rate. We do not know the repayment terms. We do not know whether the debt came from a bank, private lenders, relatives, or several different sources. We also do not know whether Jenny is legally connected to that debt. So it would be irresponsible to claim that Jenny personally owes $20,000 or that her assets are directly at risk. The show has not provided enough information to confirm that. But even if the loan is only in Sumit's name, the consequences are still shared. Debt affects where they can live. It affects what Sumit must earn. It affects whether they can move out. It affects their ability to plan for emergencies, and it may affect how dependent they remain on his family. This is why financial secrecy inside a marriage is so serious. The hidden decision may belong to one person on paper, but the limitations created by that decision affect both people. Sumit's explanation is that he cannot abandon his parents, and I do believe this pressure may be genuine. In many South Asian families, including many Indian and Pakistani households, caring for parents is not treated as an optional act of kindness. It is seen as a moral responsibility. Adult children, especially sons, may feel deep social and emotional pressure to support their parents financially. So Sumit may genuinely believe that if his parents cannot pay the rent, allowing them to struggle would make him a terrible son. That cultural context matters. But cultural responsibility does not automatically justify financial deception. Supporting your parents is one decision. Secretly borrowing thousands of dollars and expecting your spouse to accept the consequences is another decision. Sumit keeps presenting the situation as though he had only two options. Either he supports his parents completely, or he abandons them. But that is a false choice. He and Jenny could have discussed a fixed amount they were able to contribute. They could have reviewed the household expenses. They could have asked why his parents suddenly stopped paying. They could have created a timeline. They could have considered temporary work, downsizing, or another housing arrangement. Maybe some of those options were impossible. We do not have their full financial record, but Sumit never gave Jenny the opportunity to participate in that conversation. He made the decision first. Then, he gave her the explanation later. This is where the relationship pattern becomes impossible to ignore. When Sumit expects opposition, he often avoids the confrontation by hiding information. When he first met Jenny online, he was not honest about his identity. Later, he concealed the fact that he was in an arranged marriage. He also kept major relationship decisions hidden from his parents, including marrying Jenny without informing them beforehand. Earlier in this season, Jenny said Sumit made a $50,000 investment without properly consulting her. Sumit argued that the money had not been lost, and we still do not have enough documentation to know exactly what happened to that investment. But whether the money was lost is not the only issue. The issue is that once again, Sumit apparently made a major financial move and informed Jenny afterward. Now we have the loans. Different situation. Same communication structure. Sumit anticipates conflict. He makes the decision alone. He hides it. The truth eventually comes out. Jenny becomes angry. Sumit then focuses on Jenny's anger and presents himself as the person who is always blamed. That creates a very unhealthy cycle. Sumit can tell himself, I did not tell Jenny because she reacts badly. Jenny can tell herself, I react badly because Sumit never tells me the truth. And because they keep focusing on the emotional explosion, they never repair the system that created it. The solution is not for Jenny to stop having emotions. The solution is not for Sumit to hide information more carefully. The solution would be complete financial transparency and a rule that neither person can make major decisions without agreement. But the episode does not show Sumit offering that. Instead, when Jenny becomes upset, he tells her that she does not understand. That statement is almost unbelievable when you consider what has just happened. Jenny could not understand because Sumit did not give her the information. He denied her the opportunity to understand and then criticized her for not understanding. This is the biggest contradiction in his entire defense. And notice Jenny's reaction. She is angry, but she is not immediately screaming or creating the kind of dramatic scene viewers may have expected. She looks exhausted. Some viewers may interpret that as maturity. Others may see it as emotional shutdown. Personally, I think it could be a sign that this revelation is not surprising to her anymore. There is a difference between being shocked by a betrayal and having your worst expectation confirmed. Jenny's frustration seems bigger than the loan itself. She tells Sumit that he never considers what she wants. That sentence goes to the heart of their marriage. Jenny has spent years proving that she is willing to make sacrifices for Sumit. She moved to India. She dealt with his family's rejection. She stayed through the revelation of his marriage. She waited through years of uncertainty. She agreed to live with his parents after finally building an independent life with him. So from Jenny's perspective, she has repeatedly adjusted her life around Sumit's problems. But when does Sumit adjust his decisions around Jenny's needs? He may love her, Their relationship has survived far more than most couples could survive. But love and equal partnership are not exactly the same thing. A person can deeply love their spouse and still make decisions that leave that spouse powerless. That appears to be Jenny's fear. She is emotionally important to Sumit, but when family duty and financial pressure enter the picture, her opinion becomes secondary. Now, fans are very divided over this storyline. Some fans feel this confession proves that Sumit has never changed. They connect the loan to the catfishing, the hidden arranged marriage, and the earlier investment dispute. For these viewers, secrecy is not a mistake he occasionally makes. It is his normal method of handling pressure. A second section of the audience has a more sympathetic interpretation. They believe Sumit genuinely loves Jenny and is not trying to scam her, but they also believe he becomes dishonest whenever he is afraid of confrontation. That distinction is important. Someone does not need to be an evil mastermind to cause serious damage. Fear, shame, and conflict avoidance can destroy trust just as effectively as calculated manipulation. Many viewers are also questioning the financial details. They want to know how an unemployed man was able to borrow up to $20,000. They are questioning whether the amount was definitely presented in US dollars. They are asking whether the money covered rent alone, or whether it may also be connected to the failed calf or other family expenses. Those are reasonable questions, but they remain questions. There is no confirmed proof that the storyline is fake, that production changed the number, or that Sumit is lying about every detail. Those are audience theories, not established facts. Another group of viewers is defending Sumit's responsibility toward his parents. They argue that Jenny has lived in India long enough to understand that family obligations are different from the independent American model of marriage. And there is some fairness in that argument. Jenny cannot reasonably expect Sumit to stop caring about his parents or behave as though they no longer exist. But understanding family responsibility does not mean agreeing to unlimited financial responsibility. There is a major difference between saying, "My husband helps his parents," and discovering, "My husband borrowed thousands of dollars to support the household and did not tell me." Jenny's issue is not simply that Sumit loves his parents. Her issue is that his loyalty to them repeatedly becomes a decision she is expected to accept after the fact. Then there are fans who believe Jenny and Sumit will remain together no matter what happens. Their relationship has survived catfishing, family opposition, a hidden marriage, cultural pressure, age gap criticism, money problems, and years of television scrutiny. And based on their public relationship after filming, a permanent breakup does not seem like the most likely result. That does not mean their problems are solved. In fact, their ability to survive may sometimes prevent them from making necessary changes. Every time they survive another crisis, it can reinforce the belief that the relationship is strong enough to continue without fixing its structure. They reconcile emotionally, but the same conflict returns in a different form. First, it was identity, then marriage, then family approval, then housing, then business decisions. Now it is debt. The subject changes, but the basic pattern remains. Sumit makes a choice while trying to avoid losing someone. Jenny discovers the truth after her options have narrowed. She threatens to leave. Sumit becomes emotional. They remember how much they love each other. Then the practical problem remains sitting quietly in the corner, waiting for the next episode. And this debt could make every other conflict worse. If they want to move out, the loan may be used as a reason they cannot afford it. If Jenny asks Sumit to find work, he may argue that he also needs to remain available for his parents. If Sumit's parents need more support, Jenny may worry that another financial decision is being made without her. If the earlier investment is not easily accessible, they may have money on paper but no usable cash. And because Jenny later publicly revealed her ALS diagnosis, financial stability and future planning are now even more important for them. She has said that she did not know about the diagnosis while filming, so it would be unfair to claim Sumit knowingly made these decisions while hiding money from a diagnosed spouse. But in the present day, transparency matters more than ever. They need to know what they owe, what they own, what income they have, and what responsibilities they are promising to his parents. My prediction is that Jenny and Sumit will emotionally reconcile. I do not think this revelation automatically ends their marriage. They have a deep attachment, and Sumit has remained publicly supportive of Jenny. But I also do not expect the financial problem to disappear simply because they make peace after the argument. The most likely future conflict is Jenny demanding a clear plan, and Sumit offering emotional reassurance without enough practical detail. She may ask when they are moving out. He may say they cannot move because of the debt. She may ask exactly how the loan will be repaid. He may say he is trying his best. She may demand employment or access to the financial information. And eventually another detail may come out that she did not fully know. The biggest danger is not necessarily divorce. The biggest danger is that they stay married while Jenny continues losing confidence that she has any control over the direction of her own life. That is what makes this storyline much deeper than a normal reality television money fight. Sumit may believe he is protecting everyone by carrying the pressure alone. But by hiding the truth, he is not protecting the marriage. He is removing Jenny from it whenever the most important decisions are made. And Jenny is not simply asking him to choose her over his parents. She is asking him to treat her like a wife before treating her like someone who must accept whatever solution he has already chosen. So the final question is not whether Sumit should support his parents. Most people can understand why he feels responsible for them. The real question is whether family duty gives him the right to create financial consequences for his marriage without his wife's consent. We still do not know who gave him the loans. We do not know the repayment terms. We do not know why his parents stopped paying. We do not know what happened to the earlier investment. And we do not know whether Sumit has a realistic employment plan. But we do know that Jenny has heard another major truth too late. So what do you think? Is Sumit a desperate man trying to protect his family? Or has he been using family responsibility as an excuse to keep making decisions behind Jenny's back?